Alright, so we haven't done a drink video for a few days, so I figured it was time to get right back at it. Today I'm going to do a classic cocktail. Weather's getting kind of nice outside, a little bit warmer, so I figured I'd do something kind of refreshing. So we're going to do a Negroni. Now this is a great recipe for a cocktail because you can use it as a base to make all kinds of other drinks. So a Negroni is going to be gin, Campari, and vermouth. So you can play with that idea. It's equal proportions of each thing. You can play with that idea if you want to keep the vermouth and the Campari together and switch to a bourbon or rye as your base spirit. It becomes a Boulevardier. You can play around with the base spirit. You can play around with whatever aperitif you want to use, and you can play around with any kind of fortified wine and just kind of use that as your guide. But, the Negroni is a classic. And here I'm going to use a bourbon barrel-aged gin. I think it adds kind of a little extra depth. I'm actually usually not a fan of these barrel-aged gins that much per se, but I think it does lend itself well to certain cocktails like this. Traditionally, it is just like your typical London dry gin or whatever, but Negroni's great with that. But I figure we'll use this bourbon barrel gin today. So we're going to do 1 ounce of gin. A little secret here: use your highest gravity spirits first and build that way, especially when you're building a drink like this, because it'll kind of naturally mix. And we're going to take our Campari, and we'll use 1 ounce of Campari. And if you're not familiar with Campari, it's a bitter Italian aperitif. It's very bittersweet. Adds a lot of depth to a lot of things. People do like it with soda or on the rocks with like a little orange or twist of lime. I like Campari a considerable amount, but it is an acquired taste. So if you're not familiar with it, it might be a little cloyingly bitter at first. So now we're going to use 1 ounce of sweet vermouth. And that's it. You've got a Negroni after that. Only thing you want to do is garnish it with an orange slice or an orange peel. I prefer the peel. I like to get that extra bit of bitters or depth to it. So we'll just peel right over top of the drink just so we can get some of those oils in there. And then just make our little twist. Throw it on top. There you go.